Welcome to Sounding Board. This is a weekly program completely produced and directed by club members of Seroptimus International of Novato. You know, we've been doing this for 20 years now, and we love doing it for our community. The mission of the organization, of our club, is to help improve the lives of women and girls, both globally and locally. And, you know, reflecting on that mission, I think we are just absolutely spot on with our program today. We're going to be looking at the Gilead House right here in Novato. Our members of Novato have chosen Gilead House as our #1 project, both to put financial support to and to also put a volunteer time to. So, you know, you might be thinking to yourself, what is the Gilead House? And you have a right to know that because it's not a real well-known kind of thing. It's sort of sometimes been kept as a secret even. So I'm going to ask Sarah Webb. Oh, by the way, our guests, I need to introduce our guests. Sarah Webb is a family advocate at the Gilead House, and Maya Fox is one of the Gilead moms, the resident moms. Thank you both for being here. So Sarah, with that in mind, we've had lots of programs about the Gilead House here on Sounding Board, but let's refresh the concept of the Gilead House for our viewing audience.
All right. Well, the Gilead House is a transitional housing facility for single moms and their kids. The moms come and stay for about 12 months on our program, and during that time they develop goals and they work towards self-sufficiency at the end of those 12 months.
So what might be some of the challenges of these women? What are they facing when they turn to something like the Gilead House?
A lot of our moms may have had some history of substance abuse. They maybe have been involved in relationships that had domestic violence. They may have had time in the criminal justice system, sometimes all three of these things. They've experienced some significant challenges in their lives, and they come to Gilead House in hopes of rebuilding their lives and starting over.
Now, the Gilead House is an actual house, right?
It is.
And what is it, a 5-bedroom, a 6-bedroom home?
It's a 6-bedroom home. We have 6 families that live there at a time. Each family has their own bedroom and their own bathroom, but the rest of the area is shared. So they share the kitchen and they share the laundry room, and they live in community. Great,
great. And there's also a live-in house mom?
Yeah.
And the house mom stays there all the time?
Our house manager has an apartment on site. She's actually a part-time employee. She works for us 20 hours a week, but then she lives there on site, so she's there in case of emergencies, and her job is sort of to make sure that the house is maintained and the chores are done and things like that.
Good, like a dorm mom almost, huh?
Exactly.
Good, okay. So if there was, if the audience, someone in the audience knew of somebody who they thought they might tell about the Gilead House, what would be the process of applying to get into or to becoming a mom at the Gilead House?
Well, they would go to our website, which is www.gileadhouse.org, and there's actually a link on our website that says apply for residency, and they fill out that form and it comes directly to my email, and then I will give them a call to let them know the status of their application and start the process if we have an opening. If we do have an opening, then they go through a phone interview and an in-person interview, and then finally they'll come and see the house and bring their kids to see the house, and if it feels like a good fit for everyone, then they'll move in.
You know, a friend of mine, Rosa Maria, volunteered to help with any Spanish-speaking needs, and so that exists as well if anybody was making an application, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Good. Okay, well, Maya, you are the courageous mom who came over here to tell your story on television. So would you mind, please, telling us what your life was like before Gilead, before you even knew about the Gilead House?
Absolutely. So I had a pretty typical upbringing. I grew up in a fairly middle-class family here in Marin County. I went to private school. My family did suffer some financial troubles, but I did go to private school all the way through high school. And in my late high school years into my early 20s, my life really started to fall apart a little bit. I struggled with some stress issues. I struggled with some alcohol and substance abuse issues. And my mom and I like to joke that I didn't have the terrible 2s, I had the terrible 20s. Poor choices, poor decisions led me into a bad relationship, an abusive, emotional and physically abusive relationship. And I ended up in a domestic violence relationship. And I was scared, but I did manage to get out of it. My daughter was born into that relationship, and when I managed to extract myself from that situation, I was left trying to support us. It's a very scary situation in the county of Marin. It's a very expensive county to try to start over in, especially working in the service industry.
You were working at that time?
Yes, I was working at that time. So I did everything in my power to make sure that my daughter and I could, sustain. I went through my entire emergency fund. I went through all of my savings and got to a point where I had no money left. I was down to my last, basically drained my savings account down to my last penny. And I had heard about the Gilead House through a coworker, actually, who volunteers, I think, or used to. And I had applied. And when I was accepted, we were facing homelessness, basically.
So what about your mom? Was there any family support there at that time that you could turn to?
I have family support. My mom is local, but that wasn't a housing option for me. I'm blessed to have support, but it was not a place that we could go and stay at that time.
So she gave you emotional support? But
emotional support, some childcare support. My hours at work had also gone down, so I was struggling to keep my hours. And I was doing everything in my power to sustain. I was doing all the right things, trying to pick up shifts, trying to figure out going back to school. I was doing what I'm supposed to do and still struggling to put a roof over my daughter's head.
Going farther and farther behind the more you struggled.
Correct, yeah.
So Sarah, is this her story, is Maya's story typical of the other moms who come into Gilead?
It can be. There's lots of unique situations that women find themselves in before they come to Gilead House. They get referred to us by different agencies. Even there's an agency in Centerfield that works with mothers with young children and substance abuse, and so sometimes they will send moms our way. But every situation is different. These moms just find themselves in a place where they don't know how they're going to make it through the next day, and so they apply to Gilead House.
So what are the ages? Are there any age limitations?
Generally, there's no age limitations for the moms. Most of the families that come to Gilead House have kids 12 and under, but we do sometimes have teenagers come in and live too.
As the children's?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. I was going to ask you another question, but I've forgotten what it was now. Anyway, well, Maya, let's come back to this. And so you finally got accepted to the Gilead House, and I'm sure it was just a wonderful relief. What was it like when you walked in the door? What were your feelings? What met you? Visually, what did you see?
Well, the first thing that really drew me to the Gilead House, just to back up a second, was what I learned about it was a program that really reinforced changing your life. And so when I got accepted, I was thrilled because I knew this was my opportunity to change my life, and that's where I was. I mean, what I was doing wasn't working, and I wanted to do anything different, but not just anything. I wanted to do something that would change me for the better. So when I got in and I walked into this house, it's a beautiful house to begin with.
It's fairly new.
It's beautiful,
it's
yes.
Fairly new, and it's amazing. It's beautiful, yeah.
But I remember feeling this euphoric sense of calm and just feeling like I could exhale, because I knew that it was going to be okay. I knew that I had a safe place to go for the next 12 months. I knew that my daughter and I could start to rebuild, and I was no longer in crisis mode, that I could pack up this old apartment, that I could deal with that mess, and even though we were at zero and negative financially, that I could now move forward and focus on, my health, her health, our financial stability, and making a plan that was going to regrow our life. It was a blessing.
What was the space like that you had to come in to live to?
It was different from what we were used to. It was an adjustment. We went from a one-bedroom apartment that we shared to us sharing a bedroom and then communal living. So the adjustment was interesting for both of us. She got the opportunity to learn to coexist with other kids, and as a single child, that was good for her in some ways and a struggle for her in others. For me, I've lived with people before. I've had roommates, so it was an adjustment, but it was one that I was willing to make and wasn't that difficult. in the 12 months that I've been there, it really has become my home.
Really?
Absolutely has become my home.
Oh dear, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about your daughter. How did it all affect her?
She struggled in the beginning. She's not used to sharing her toys or her playroom or her space with other kids, but she really became more social. She became more outgoing. She learned how to interact with other children better, and she stabilized. You know, we had a stable environment to be in. Since I've been there, I've been able to achieve childcare. I've gotten her into a program. She got into preschool. She started to thrive.
Sarah, I see you nodding your head there. What, from your point of view, tell us about Maya's daughter. What happened? What were the changes there?
She was just so very shy the first few times we met her, and she would come in and she would kind of hide behind her mom. She didn't really look us in the eye, and now if you walk into a room and you see her and say, "Hey, Selena," she's like waving at you, and she goes running down the hall to see our executive director, Jackie. Whenever Jackie's in the office, she runs down to say hi and visit, and she's just so much more outgoing now, and it's really neat to see.
Good, good. So Maya, as a mom, how's your life now?
My life is better. I still have a long way to go, but it is a different life than it was a year ago. I've been there for 1 year. I have picked up hours. I've had 2 promotions at work.
And what does that come from? Just
not running scared anymore. When you get into a place where you're in crisis mode, it's hard to make long distance decisions. It's hard to make choices that aren't 1 week out. And being in a place that was stable, knowing I was going to be able to be safe and stay there for a year, I could make decisions and plans and look further out and make these life goals that are further out. So I've been able to plan my life out a little better.
What are some of those goals now?
To continue growing with my work, continue to develop my daughter and my parenting skills, to build a life for both of us, to rebuild my financial padding. I've started to have actual financial dreams and goals that I think are possible.
Really? That's exciting.
I've been able to rebuild my sense of self, which is really important when you come from that kind of abusive situation. So it's given me a lot of hope, which is very important. Like I said, I still have a ways to go, but I've gained a lot of hope since I've been there.
Now I know that they have regular workshops and all kinds of programs add to the Gilead House. How have they affected your life this year?
I have definitely benefited from some of the classes, like some of the parenting classes. We've discussed things like how to deal with stress. Some of the financial classes that we've had, those have been helpful for me. We had some cooking classes that I absolutely loved.
Really?
Yes.
What did you like about those?
There were some meals that I actually incorporated now into my regular routine.
Really good.
So there's all these little tidbits that I've picked up and incorporated now into my life.
Good. I'm sort of emphasizing that, even though it's not a part of what you're doing really, but if any of the audience might be thinking about how they could help out, you know, they might be thinking they have some skills, some cooking skills or some parenting skills that they might be able to share and come down and volunteer as a workshop program, something like that. That's why I was trying to draw that out.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so obviously all these changes in Maya, Sarah, all these changes in Maya don't happen without any support. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the support systems behind these changes that happen with the children and with the moms at Gilead?
Okay, well, generally when the moms first come into Gilead House, within a couple of weeks I sit down with them, and just like Maya was talking about, we write their goals for the whole year. We talk about where they want to be from that time and what they want to accomplish while they're at Gilead House. And those goals, although the ultimate goal is self-sufficiency, their individual goals are all very different. Some of them want to save for a car. Some of them want to get into individual therapy for a while. They have so many different goals. So we write their goals, and then those goals get forwarded on to a mentor, and each mom is matched with a volunteer mentor who follows them through the course of their stay at Gilead House and then for 6 months afterwards. We really hope that it becomes a lifelong support person for them.
Oh, really? Does that happen? Does some of the
happen.
mentors stay with them like almost a foster mom?
Yes, exactly, exactly. Because a lot of our moms come to us with not very much of a support system. And what we want them to leave Gilead House with a support system around them of people that they can call just when they need help. So they have their mentor. And additionally, the goals are written as such that they match up with the areas that we cover in life skills, which is parenting, finance and budgeting, education and employment, and then personal growth. And personal growth encompasses all kinds of health: mental health, physical health, emotional health, relational health. So we have life skills classes, and those happen every Wednesday night at the house. We provide childcare for the moms, and then we have volunteers come in and teach on whatever their area of expertise is and what they are passionate about. They come and teach our moms about.
Good.
Yeah.
Speaking of expertise, what kind of expertise is necessary to be a mentor? Do they have to have some kind of psychology or counseling background?
They do not, but they have to be a very good listener. And our mentors just have to be mature and able to support our moms. There's no financial contribution they have to give. It's just being there for our moms and listening and supporting them and reframing things for them. Sometimes when our moms are feeling challenged, then sometimes their mentor is there to speak into their lives in a different way and help them to...
So do you coach the mentors as well?
If they need it. Usually I don't have to, though.
Oh, really?
I mean, I'm there as a mediator if there's problems, and I check in with the mentors to see how things are going. But it's kind of a sacred relationship, I feel like. So I try not to get into their relationship very much and just let the mentor and the mom work through things.
Interesting. That's
Yeah.
very interesting. I didn't even think about that until I started. We had this discussion just now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Maya, you're coming sort of close to your end of the 12-month stay, and since you've said so many positive things about the Gilead House and it's become your home now, and these friends, hopefully they'll become lifelong friends, but anyway, somehow you've got to bring it to closure, and how does that feel?
It's scary.
Yeah.
It's very scary. You know, I have come quite a long way. I'm in a very different place than I was 12 months ago. But again, it is in this county very difficult to be sustainable as the working poor, which I still am. I'm in a very different place financially, much better place to support myself. My employment situation is a lot more stable. But the prospect of going out there and supporting me and my daughter on my own is frightening from where we came from, logistically and emotionally, because we did get so close to losing it all.
Yeah.
It also in the search for housing, it is extremely difficult, I'm finding, to find housing at an affordable rate.
What is your affordable rate then?
Realistically, I'm looking at, you know, $700 on the low end, maybe $950 on the high end.
So that pretty much means sharing a facility with somebody else in Marin County.
Correct. It means roommate situation. It means an in-law unit somewhere. It means, or, you know, a granny unit. It means
Somebody with a big heart.
Yes, exactly. Maybe a small studio somewhere. What I've discovered is there are not a lot of people that are willing to share housing with a mother and a small child. As soon as I hear that, or as soon as they hear, oh, you have a small child, age 4, they're not so willing to meet with me.
Wow.
And I'm running up against that a lot. It's not that I'm not trying to find it, it's that I'm not having a lot of luck.
Wow.
So I might have to go outside the county, which would mean my daughter would lose her schooling in this county. So it's still a struggle here in this county for people in my situation who are working very hard to do the right thing to stay sustainable.
Now, what happens to Maya when her 12 months is over, Sarah? What happens to her that she leaves? Say she finds a place and she leaves, and then she has some challenges again. Can she come back to you? Does she? Are the support systems there for her anymore? Or
The support systems are there. The housing usually isn't. They can't come move back in with us as much as we would like that. We do have to save the space and give other moms a chance to live there. But our doors are always open to our former moms, and we are always there. And in fact, moms have graduated, I still call them once a week or once a month and check in with them, and they get invited to our special events at the house, and we try to keep them still connected with us.
Are those stories pretty much positive, or do any of them fall back again?
I think probably some fall back again, but for the most part, the ones that we manage to keep in touch with, it seems like they're doing pretty well.
Good.
There's still the same struggles that Maya has talked about, that housing is difficult to find, and it's difficult to maintain your income enough to be able to keep your home. And that's a common struggle with single income households in this county. But for the most part, they seem to be doing pretty well. We planted the seeds, and they've managed to grow them into a different kind of lifestyle than what they had before they came to Gilead House.
So would a granny unit, or well, we call it a granny unit, sort of an in-law unit, something like that, could be a possibility then if somebody had something like that where you might still have to share a kitchen?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that could work, and that could be possibly affordable then. Something like that. Maybe if somebody could think about opening their home up to you.
Absolutely. I'm looking for the next step. You know, I'm just going to keep moving up, and I'm just looking for the next step up. But I know it's there, and I have hope.
So if anybody might have such a house, for Maya or one of the other moms there, they could contact you using the website www.gilead, and that's Gilead, house, House, no space, nothing in between, .org, and that's because you're a nonprofit organization. It's ORG, not COM. So www.gileadhouse.org, yes. Okay, well, Maya, I'm just thinking, have we left anything out? Are there any final words or anything that you would like to share?
The only thing that I really would like to share is that, you know, I believe that life happens sometimes to people. I think we all know somebody that has gone through a difficult time, a brother, a sister, a cousin, a friend. And the Gilead House is just such an amazing program. It just offers that opportunity to get back on our feet. You know, it's not, I don't think any of us have done bad things. I think there are some bad things that have happened in our lives, or we've made some poor choices, and we're all really good people who have been given this amazing, hopeful opportunity to turn it around. And that's what this is all about. This is an opportunity, and it's all up to us. It's an inside job. Once you get in there, it's all an inside job. And it's up to us to make the best of the opportunities. We're just given the ingredients.
That's
and
great.
It has been a great experience.
That's great. And how many women are in there at a time?
Up to 6. So
6.
that's the
not very
maximum,
many when you look at it. When you look at the whole society,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
But do you all come from Novato then?
All around.
All around Marin County?
Not even just Marin County. Sometimes we'll get women that have, one of our moms, she came from Texas and had escaped a domestic violence relationship, and she heard about us, and when she got to Marin County, she heard about us and applied to our program. And yeah,
it's amazing, amazing program. I'm really happy to know about the Gilead House and be able to help out, and I'm sure that all the members of our club are happy about it too. But Sarah, what final thoughts and feelings might you have to share with our audience as a parting comment?
I guess I just want to say that Gilead House is such a place of hope, and that even our volunteers and supporters, when they come to the house, they can feel the peace and the calm and the hope that's in the home. So I encourage people to come out and to our house tours. I encourage people to volunteer, and also to reach out to our moms, especially our moms that are leaving our program. Like Maya said, housing is difficult. So if you have an extra space and you'd like a family to come live with you at some point, think of us.
Good. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the house tours. We've just got a few more minutes here, a couple more minutes. Tell us about the house tours, when they are, and how would they go about getting on one?
Right now, the house tours are on the third Tuesday of every month from 12 to 1. You get a tour of the house. One of our former moms or a resident mom hopefully comes to speak at the house tour. And then one of our volunteers or one of our staff also speaks to the house tour to tell you what their experience with Gilead House has been like.
Interesting.
There's a light lunch served. To come to the tour, you just have to check our website and you can email us and RSVP to come.
About how many people show up on a given tour day?
I think that we have a max of about 10 to 12 people that can be on a tour at once. But we can do tours for as few as 2 or 3 people. It just depends on how many people sign up. We also, in addition to the Tuesdays, if you had a group that wanted to come see us, but you couldn't come at that time, we could arrange a different time for a tour.
For a group, if
Yes.
you had your own group involved. That's interesting. That would be a good club activity for a lot of, like, Rotary maybe or something like that could come and make a tour. Have they ever done that?
Rotary has come to do service projects, and I would guess that they got a tour as part of their project.
To start out with, because once you take the tour, it's almost as if you're hooked. You just see, like you say, you feel the hope. You feel it there. It's really nice. Good. Well, you're just a fabulous a pair of individuals to come down here and donate your time to come down here and share your life, Maya. This is fabulous. And Sarah, the goodness of you just comes right out, you know, of being able to help everybody over there. So thank you both for being here, and thank you, Seroptimus crew members, my club sisters, for being here and crewing and directing and producing this show. And thank you, Rick and Leon, for being behind the scenes with Novato Public Access Television. And thank you, the viewing audience, for being here with us.